when they do go into you, and we've all got them, you know. I mean, the thing about it is that, and God love Robbie, he can see them, you know what I mean. He's got the gift, and whenever he's looking, you know, at you, he can tell, you know, whether, you know, there's something to worry about, and he told me that I had plenty to worry about. So I said to myself, right, it looks like the baptism or whatever, and yes, like a rebirth, you know, everything's working out with me and Robbie and the and Monsters of Man, and you know, maybe it's time to think about a wee token, a wee gesture to sort of feel, you know, a rebirth. So last Wednesday night, believe me, it's still November, no matter what. But I said to myself, I'm going to fill the bath because I can't go out and go down to the sea or whatever, you know, at midnight. So I'm going to fill the bath with water, cold water, not warm water. It's not actually having a bath. There was only the cold tap that was going to be turned on. I said, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to immerse myself in the cold water. I'm going to hold myself under there for as long as I can. And then whenever I come up out of it, you know, dry myself down and then see if I feel, you know, like a sort of a release. At the very least, you know, it was going to be a refreshing moment. But so I filled the bath up, and I was crapping myself watching it going up because I kept saying to myself, I'm going to have to do this, you know, but because I can't back out now. So I sat water, came time, and I went, I'm just going to have to do this. Clothes off, stood in the bath, and the water was like, it was up to my, because I knew that if I couldn't fill the thing, because I knew if I got in that the water would go all over the sides, but still there was still enough in it, you know, for it to come up above my ankles and stuff. And I was going, oh my God, I've got to get into this. And then I remember actually sort of saying, oh God, you know, if you know, because I was now then thinking to myself, because my granda had one time told me about a friend of his who dived into a river from the warm into the cold, and the guy's heart gave in. You know, there was too much of a shock. So I was saying, what if that happens to me? You know, you know, people are going to find me, you know, some stage lying on a bath of cold water, you know, in perfectly okay health otherwise. So, but I did it anyway, you know, and I went boom, and I went, oh my God, it took my breath away, and I held my nose, and I went right the way under, and I was going, how long can I stay here? And I planned originally to do it for about, like, you know, hopefully for a minute or whatever, you know, I lasted about 15 seconds. But I still was completely immersed, and I came up and I got out, and I was going, I've done it, whoa, I've done it, and yes, it kind of reminded me of a joke that Tommy Hammer used to tell the Linfield boys, and I remember going over one time, and he said, do you know that I can speak Eskimo? And he says, well, not exactly count. He says, but I can count from 1 to 10 in Eskimo. And I went, well, 1 to 10 in Eskimo? I don't even know what I thought they spoke English, sort of thing, you know. He says, I don't know, they've got their own dialect. And I says, well, let's hear it then. 1 to 10, you count to 1 to 10 in Eskimo. And he went, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that was the way I got out of that bath. I was freezing, but I felt okay, you know, everything was good. And then the dream happened anyway, right? So this is, don't worry, I'm coming to the end of this soon. The dream happened. So my brother, it was like in a dark room, and he and I were in the dark room together, but he came like through like a black part where you didn't know whether there was a door or not, but he just appeared, and I was sitting on a seat, and there was a seat there, but he stood, and he said, what was all that about? that bath thing. You know, so this was the next, the night after. And I explained to him, and I said, I don't, just trying to get wee bits and pieces out of him. It's just like, why not try it? See if it makes you feel better. If you can sort of get rid of some demons, or whatever. And he said, oh, for God's sake, he says, listen, what age are you? And I told him what age I am. You think I'm going to? But he then said, how many years do you think you've got left on this earth? And I said, well, this will probably give it away anyway. But I said, well, my mum and dad have reached, they're in their 80s and they're in relatively good health. So I think I'm going to have over 20, left, sort of thing. He says, right. And he started doing this with his finger. And my head started to go into like a spin, like a whirlwind sort of thing. And I saw all these visions and going, oh dear. And I saw somebody by a graveside, and I saw somebody knocked down by a car, and I saw somebody like body parts, and I was going, what is a nightmare? This is a nightmare. I saw, people that have said a funeral, and I'm going, hold on, wow. And then it stopped just so suddenly. And I said, are you telling me that that's what I can expect to see, over the next 20 years? And he said, no, don't be silly. He says, we can't see into the future. And I'm going, well, but I don't know, but spirits,